I'm Jennifer Marie Keller and welcome to my Diary of a Painter. This video I'm going to talk about what I take out with me when I go plein air painting, and then also at the end of the video I'm going to show footage of my actual setup when I'm out on location. This is the big backpack that I take with me and I fit almost everything in. I'm going to start off with the paints. So I always take a Tupperware container with me so that when I've got my paint squeezed down on my palette at the end of the painting, the colors that haven't been mixed yet, the pure colors from the tubes, I'll put them in this to save them so I can use them then when I come back to my studio to paint. So it looks like this. As far as my paints go, I've noticed that when I'm out plein air painting, I tend to get more paint on myself and on my hands than I do when I'm in my studio. So I switched to almost a completely non-toxic palette. And I put all of my paints in a bag so they all stay together. So first, I always have titanium white. This is by Old Holland. This is the only color that is toxic. It's cadmium yellow. I rarely use this on my palette. If I need it for the sky or maybe to make a green a little bit more bright, I'll use it, but I just need to switch to a non-toxic one. I just haven't found one yet. Yellow ochre. This is by M. Grand and Company. I use this mostly for my yellows, yellow ochre. Sennelier red. This one is not toxic, so it's like a cadmium red but non-toxic. I found that the Sennelier red is very close to the cadmium red, slightly more cold, ever so slightly more cold, but it's pretty similar to a cadmium red. Alizarin crimson by Michael Harding. Ultramarine blue by Rublev. This is cobalt green. I haven't found a green that I quite love yet. I don't use it in my studio work, only plein air painting, and I kind of rarely use it plein air painting as well. This is cobalt green by Gamblin, and if I do use it, I always put red into it to kind of tone it down so the green's not too obnoxious and has like a nice harmony with the whole painting. And then Ivory Black by Rembrandt. And I always take all those paints and I always squeeze them all out on my palette, but I don't always use them all. But I always take them all with me, so I've got all that variation of color if I want to grab it. Then a palette knife. As far as mediums go, I take turpentine and a small container that I put it in. I only use turpentine at the very beginning process when I'm blocking in the drawing. I like to use as little as possible. And the medium that I use most often is Oilio gel, and this is Rublev's, which you can get at the Natural Pigments website. I really like it for plein air painting because it's like linseed oil but more of a gel. So I will squeeze it onto a corner of my palette and it's not gonna run off the palette at all, but it still loosens up the paint nicely. This is the palette that I take and I hold it when I work, and it doesn't fit in my bag, so I just carry it out. And paintbrushes, I take in this bamboo wrap, which is nice. Nice to carry, and I have a variety. So variety of sizes from big to small. I start off with these brushes. These are the Catalyst by Princeton Polytip bristle. So they are a stiffer bristle. They're a little bit softer than a pure bristle brush, but still like very strong to move paint around. So I always start off with these, and then towards the end of the painting, I will use these synthetic by the Blick brand, Blick Scholastic Wonder White, and I have variation from sizes with these, but these are nice to then do a lot of like detail work. I get a different quality, and these I find are just nice to finish up the painting. And I always take a fan brush with me, so at the end if I want to knock down edges in my painting, this is great for that. I take quite a bit of brushes out, but I definitely don't use them all, and I don't always use that. I kind of rarely use the fan brush. And paper towels, of course. And then this is a panel carrier that I made. It holds 2 panels I also have another one that does fit in my bag. This one doesn't. These hold 11 by 14 panels. And I have another panel carrier that is for 4 by 6s, but I most normally do these 11 by 14s. It doesn't fit on my bag, so I just carry it with my palette when I go out. And so those are all my painting materials, and they stay in the big section of my backpack. In the small section, I put my seeing tools. This is the draw scope. I don't always use this, but if I want to paint something that's a bit more complicated, like architecture, I will use this at the very beginning, and this tool, it pulls the image onto my canvas, so I can, like, since I work site size, it helps me to, I mostly work site size. I guess out of my atelier, I kind of switch with comparative measuring and site size now. But so this is great if you work site size and you just want to plan out your composition and your painting and how it's going to be fitting on your canvas. So I don't always use this, but if it's a more complicated image, I will. A mirror, which I use in my studio, and when I go out plein air painting, a mirror is great to check yourself in your painting, and so you can, like, catch mistakes or errors, and it keeps a fresh eye. This is a lens that you hold it up, look through it, everything kind of turns sepia. It's for photographers, black and white photographers, to see what it's gonna look like with, like, taking the color out. So this is good for values. And then I take a dirty kneaded eraser. So if I need to, like, fix my panel so it's not gonna move at all onto my easel, this is great in case I need to get, like, a tighter, more snug fit. Those are all my seeing tools. And then I've got my more comforts that I take with me. So I always wear a hat when I go out to shield my eyes so I don't have to wear sunglasses, sun shirt, sunscreen, water bottle, snacks. I like to take these with a nut and dried fruit with pieces of chocolate, which is good. I've got wireless headphones that I take out, which sometimes I don't use them if I kind of want to be more in the mood, like if I'm by the ocean and the waves are nice. But if I'm by a lot of people, I find this helpful to kind of, like, tune out a crowd. Wireless headphones are really helpful. And then I have a portable battery for my cell phone. And finally, my easel. So this also doesn't fit in my bag. This is Studio Designs, and I like this easel a lot because it's tall enough where I can be working at eye level, which I prefer. This is my setup when I'm out on location. So you can see my easel is up at eye level. My brush is on the ground, paper towels on the ground. I'm working on a tiny 4x6. I keep my backpack on my easel like that so it weighs it down, so it's less likely to blow over. There's my little turpentine jar that I keep in there, my brushes, that's the case for my easel. In my palette, in the paper towel and palette knife, I hold while I paint, but it's on the ground right now, along with my panel carrier. I also forgot to mention that's a trash bag that I keep in my book bag. So when I've got, like, the paint covered paper towels, I put it there. Thanks for watching this video. Someone suggested this video. They were curious what I take out plein air painting with me in my setup. So if you're curious about anything else, let me know and I might make a video on it. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so already. In the description box down below, you can also find all my social media links if you want to check out those. If you have any questions for me or want to acquire on a painting or drawing, you can email me at jennifermariekeller@gmail.com. You can also check out my website at jennifermariekeller.com, and you can find the works that I have available up there, my blog, more information up there, and also I have limited edition prints of my cherubs painting in different sizes.